Hello and welcome to Galactic Wisdom. I'm very happy to have with me in the studio today, Loni Louise Bernard. Welcome
Bernard.
to this show. Now, I have your bio in front of you. I'm going to read the bio for our audience members. Loni is divinely and spiritually driven. She believes in the power of light and love of the universe. As a motivated Capricorn with an abundance of creator energy, she holds several businesses, all centered around spirituality, compassion, ecology, and philosophy. Loni is the owner and steward of the sacred land of Milo Farm, which stands for Mindful, Intentional Living in Oneness Farm. It's a nonprofit 50-acre campground and spiritual retreat center outside of Kansas City, which I've been to many times. This land holds a high vibrational energy that draws in souls of light frequencies that inspire the guests and open the portals on the land. Loni is a seer. She speaks and hears from the guides, angels, multi-dimensional beings, nature spirits, and more. Some of these messages can be heard on her videos on her YouTube channel. She also provides private and public readings and holds ceremonies as an alchemy priest and wedding officiant. She especially loves bringing back the traditions of the Celtic holidays like Beltane, Yule, and Samhain at Milo Farm. Loni has a philosophy, art, and business degree from Missouri State University. Her love for deep, esoteric conversations magnetized a download channeling of the board game that she created, Philosopher Cards to Evolve Humanity. And that's a game that I've also played at Milo Farm. This game inspires deep conversations and makes connections between people that may not have been realized otherwise. She also created an oracle deck based on the sites at Milo Farm and is working on an alien oracle deck. Loni is also a licensed real estate broker in Missouri and Kansas and is a real estate investor. She's trained to clear energy from homes, spaces, buildings, and grounds. Well, Loni, it is wonderful to have you on our show today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, I would like to start off by asking you if maybe you could describe, how would you put into words the abilities that you have that are perhaps not regular human abilities?
You're talking about the seer abilities, the clairs that I can.
Yeah.
It's something all of us have, but it's a conscientious honing in on that for me and like practicing it. Often people that have these abilities, the psychic abilities, it runs in families. So my grandmother had it. She would see spirit, but that's not necessarily the case. You can gain those abilities by practice. But yeah, it's just something that comes naturally, and it comes in different ways.
Yeah. Now, when I was with you last time, and in fact all the time that I've known you, your abilities are so strong that you don't need to sit down and meditate to connect with otherworldly beings. You just think about it, and that is like they're around you all the time.
Yes. So meditation is a great practice. I did a lot of meditation in college and right after, so I think that helped with the mindfulness and helped. I studied all religions. I almost majored in philosophy, so studying the Eightfold Path with Buddhism and all of that really helps prepare you for that. But yeah, sometimes when I do readings, I will close my eyes and kind of feel into my higher self and feel into my guides. The guides came to me with sacred geometry shape of an octagon. So sometimes I will visualize that octagon in my mind's eye. But yeah, then they just start, and you know me, I do this. I'm like, oh, they're saying this and they're saying this because I hear it and I feel it and I smell it. And my friends give me a hard time because I taste it. I can taste energy. So yes, I can just zoom, I can just tune into it if needed.
That's wonderful. And what type of beings can you and do you connect with?
Okay, the reason they showed me this first off, what they showed me a few years ago was a 6-pointed star as a representation of the different beings that are my guide group. And then there's all of these miracles that happen on this land. I live on this 50 acres, and it's like crazy, like wild things, magic happens here. So I was walking, this just happened this summer. I was just walking down a path, and this octagon was in front of my foot. And
That
the spirit,
object.
yes, this wooden
Wow.
object. Yes. And spirit was like, we want to represent ourselves no longer just as the 6-pointed star, because I don't know if I have one here, because the points are too far from each other. We want to represent ourselves as an octagon because each point is closer to God's source, which is the creator energies in the middle. And all of us are one. We are all one, and we're connected that way. So this is the new symbol they gave me this summer. So for each point, it represents a different guide group. So I have my guides and angels, my specific guides and angels, which we all have. I have my higher self. I have my gurus. I studied, a lot of us that are on this path have studied Yogananda. So he is one of my gurus, along with Babaji. So that's a point on here, is the gurus. The other is the nature spirit. So I do hear from the fae, the fairies, the dragons, the goblins, the gnomes. That's the nature spirits here. And this one is the archangels. So often my archangel, the archangel that comes the most clearly to me is Archangel Michael. And the last point is my alien guides, which actually I am from the Arcturian. I have a lot of Arcturian in me. My father from this royalty, Arcturus, he's one of my guides, and supposedly his daughter is me in the future. So that's the alien guides on this point. So that and then of course God source in the middle. So that represents my guide group.
Wow. Say that again about you being the daughter of the Arcturian in the future. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. So this is my father. He's my main alien guide. I do have other alien guides, like mantis being and a grays and a tall white. We're really heavy. Jackson County, which is the county that Kansas City's in, we're very heavy in Bigfoot. Here, lots of Bigfoot sightings. It's one of the top places in the United States. So there's Bigfoots here. So that anyway, so that's in my group. But the strongest and clearest guide is my father in the future, which is this Arcturian guide. Arcturians are very, very spiritual. Okay, so this is funny. You know how I mentioned, like, I get tastes?
Yeah.
Like energies have tastes. Well, the Arcturians just showed me, like, or gave me the taste of their energy. Okay, so mouthwash, the blue, clear, bright, sparkly mouthwash.
Okay, yeah.
You've had that? So it's like the green is a little bit sweeter, but the blue is very sharp. It's like a peppermint. That is the taste of Arcturian energy.
That's what, did that just come through just now?
No, it came through just about a week ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
They said next time I'm at Target to grab some mouthwash. What'd you say?
I just said that was interesting because I've used some of that about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, wow. That's a connection. That you were probably drawn to do that because our Arcturian friends wanted to come through. I don't know.
Could be. Do you have a name for that Arcturian?
So the high frequency beings don't need names. He just said, "You can call me Father." That sounds like Darth Vader. Talking about Star Wars. Thank you, Father. Excuse me. But once they get to a high frequency, often they don't speak in words. It's all like downloads, it's telepathy, it's telepathy, it's like energies. So it's like just trying to describe his energy.
Yeah,
So,
because
but his daughter,
I also, connect with a lot of beings out there, and you're absolutely right, they're telepathic. So having a spoken, audible name is not necessary for them. But when I connect with Arcturians, they know that it's helpful for us to have a name for each individual one, because that's how we communicate. And so I've asked them in the past to spell out their names for us, the names that they use for our benefit. And I'm good friends with, in particular, an Arcturian called Sashki, who is wonderful, and her two main sort of partners or friends, Rimioid and Helmiad. And what is fantastic is I've been communicating with these beings, particularly Sashki, for about 3 years. And every once in a while, I'll have somebody come to me and say, "Hey, Rupert, this might sound weird, but I was told to come and talk to you by an Arcturian called Sashki."
wow.
And they didn't know anything about me, and they're amazed when they discover that I know Sashki. But yeah, there's a lot of that stuff going on.
So what my father, what I just heard was those Arcturians, Sashki and the other three, that they're high high up in the ranks as well, and almost like warriors. Like their job is to reach out. They're like communicators.
Yeah,
So it's makes sense that you met with them, because that is what they do.
yeah, that is fantastic. Now, when I was with you last time at Milo Farm, you kindly gave me a reading, and there was some extraordinary things going on during that reading. And I'm going to backtrack a little bit from that, because I've been hosting events at Milo Farm for a few years. And for a few years, every once in a while, you have perceived a being that is connected with me. Would you like to explain a little bit about that?
Uh, yes. And you might fill in the gaps, because like
Yeah.
time has passed. But yes, a strong energy came through that's connected with you, that was a hybrid. It was a hybrid of the Greys. And he was around you very strongly in trying to communicate with you and with the group. And I guess you have a big mission connected to that.
Yeah, absolutely. During the reading, you felt that, and in the past, you felt that the hybrid being that was coming to uh, to visit us was actually somehow me in the future.
Yes. So how things often work is that we often get reborn in our bloodline. So your oversoul, your Rupert is a splinter of your oversoul, and the other splinter is this hybrid that is using is partnering. Actually, I was gonna say using you, but no, you guys are partners. Like when you sleep, you're working, Rupert. I don't know if you know that, but you guys are working hand in hand. You've got a big mission to do. So that is you in the future. So he's like coming back, guiding you. But also you're a great, 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 great son or something.
It's quite fascinating how that all
Yeah, and
fits
I had a
together.
picture. It's gonna show what I just showed you. That's the wrong grays. Yeah, so this a true gray Zeta comes have worked with us as humans, because humans have a special abilities. Our bodies are machines. We can handle our pineal gland is very potent. our feelings make things, we can manipulate energy very much if we can practice that. Anyway, so there's a lot of things that the grays don't have, and one is emotion, and emotion does benefit us. So they mated with humans, and one was you, and this is like kind of an image of a hybrid, which kind of takes the best of both races to conquer, or I don't want to say conquer, to achieve a goal.
Yeah. And the goal and the mission that you spoke of, that I have this mission, my mission is to try to make the universe a better place. Starting obviously with the Earth, but I have a very clearly defined vision, a vision of the future, and everything that I do in my life is to work towards that vision. And the vision is universal peace, universal love, and universal happiness. And when I was with you, it was very clear to you. I'm not sure if you remember, but I am building a community, and that community of peaceful, loving, wise people, it's they are part of a larger alliance, an alliance of beings. And I have those beings around me all the time. People see them all around me all the time, protecting me, helping me, and supporting me. Not because I personally am anything particularly special, but because what I am doing, my philosophy of striving towards helping humanity move towards universal peace, love, and happiness, they support that. And again, when I was with you, it became very clear, and you could see this, that there are forces of good in this alliance, but outside of the alliance, there are also forces of bad out there that are really battling, and it really does come across a little bit like Star Wars.
Yes. Yeah. Very clearly, we are living in Star Wars. You can't make this stuff up. It's crazy.
Do you, Loni, have a personal mission or a goal?
My mission aligns with yours. It's tied closely to raising consciousness and frequency, and how that can be done through nature, because here I'm on this land. How it can be done through energy, because I'm an alchemy priest. Like, how can we use the energy of love, you know? Yeah, and then I have a lot of creator energy that was downloaded to me, and that's why I created the philosopher game. And I keep creating, because that's the creations are things that help. Everything holds a frequency, so getting creations out there, or just like a smile out there, is helping with raising the frequency of the earth.
That is fantastic. Now we have some viewers that just want to say hello. I've got a message from Heidi. Thank you for being here, Heidi, watching. Hello to you too. And also Karen, it's good to have you with us. Thank you very much for watching. Loni, you're talking about frequency. What really is frequency? What is it, and why is it important?
It is, well, as you know, clearly frequency on a radio dial, it is like what you radiate. So it's an unseen energy. So for instance, like seeing auras, I see auras. So like somebody that has a small aura or dark aura holds a lower frequency, because they're keeping it to themselves, or they're depressed, or they're working through some things. So our friends of the higher realms, their frequencies are off the charts. Like, it's like this love source energy that just is expansive. So it's like a higher vibration. Like, it could, almost like an earthquake shake something, when the lower vibration of frequency is like earth collapsing in itself. So it's important to, if we're on this mission, if you are a light warrior, that's Archangel Michael said I'm a light warrior. There's light workers, light warriors. But you're a light warrior too, Rupert. It's not ones that, like, you're not a warrior out there, like, physically fighting with guns and swords. Of course, I hate guns, but fighting for love and universal peace, and so that's what, when we are sharing a higher frequency, when we again meet somebody with a smile, like that can be taken on, and that's important, because it's like a yawn. It can, somebody can, it's contagious. Somebody can feel it and accept it. So sometimes just being at a high frequency through your day is just helping the whole frequency of the planet. And once we raise our frequency as a planet, we're going to move on into the next dimension, and we're going to be able to connect with these beings more easily, because we're raising our frequency. They have to lower their frequency to meet in the middle so we can communicate with them. So working on how big your aura is and how high your frequency is very important if you want to have this connection and if you want to be a light warrior.
Yeah. And so if there are people out there, and again, I like to mention my friends who are out there watching, Gadget, Gigi, and this is Liz. Oh, I didn't know that Liz was Gadget Gigi. Now I understand that. It's good to have you with us, Liz. Thank you for being here. If there are people out there watching, and they like the idea of raising their frequency, how does an individual go about doing that?
At first, it has to be a conscious choice. It's meditation and releasing anything that does not serve you. So if you're bound by your thoughts, if you're bound in a dark room, if you're and it's really hard because we're often empaths, and if we don't know how to turn that off, that all of those practices won't help. So it's like consciously clearing your chakras, clearing your aura, and meditating, and like spinning the white light of source love energy around you on a regular basis. And it's also important, your mind, this is all an illusion, and we're creating this in our mind. So whatever we create in our mind, we're creating. So if you have a peaceful mind, you will have a peaceful frequency. So it's conscious. You have to, at first it's conscious. And then, kind of like I said, when I meditated all through college, and after that, now I can just jump into meditation as I'm driving down the street. Then it just becomes natural. It's like a muscle.
Yeah. Cool. And, I would add to that the kind of behavioral characteristics that are associated with a person of higher vibrational frequencies or energy would be things like loving, things like compassion, kindness, cooperation, respectfulness,
Gratitude.
characteristics that are associated with a low vibrational being, whether human or non-human, are things like hatred, revenge, exploitation, judgment. So simply modifying one's own behavior is, I feel, as well as meditating, because meditation is something I do a lot, but those are all ways of and raising our frequencies. You could use the word ascending. And one thing I'd like to point out to our audience also is how we are when we're not being observed by others really matters. The thoughts, the actions, like if you're online and you're trolling somebody in an anonymous way, they might not know it's you, but that gives you a lower frequency. That is not a good thing. So even when you're alone, your thoughts, your behavior, what you allow to go through your mind and your being, those things really do matter to one's vibrational state. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. What's done behind closed doors? What Santa Claus is seeing. Santa Claus is watching, even when nobody else is. Just
I'm
kidding.
kind of scared to ask this question now. Is Santa Claus real? Is Santa Claus? I mean, isn't that based in some old
Oh,
tradition? I'm sure you would know about that.
oh my gosh. It's a zeitgeist that, of course, if we create it, it's real. You know, it's something that humans have created. It's real in the heart of children. So that's real, you
Okay.
know? Yeah. I mean, anything that we can imagine is real. We're creating this matrix. My Santa Claus he's a great guy. Anyway.
And talking of what is real and what isn't, in your area, when in the last year or two, when I've been hosting alien contact events out there, uh, not specifically on Milo Farm, but Blue Springs, close to you, on 2 or 3 occasions, we've had beings come to us that have actually projected to us from South America. And I'm saying this like it's fact because when you have several people all seeing the same being in the same location multiple times, you have some level of proof there. And these beings that are coming from South America are subterranean beings. They live underneath the ground, and they have brownish red skin. They look almost emaciated with bony knuckles. They have a tail that is it's not covered in fur or hair. It's more like skin or scales. And we had them come to us. One of them presenting a baby, holding a baby in her arms. The baby was either dead or dying, and the
Mm.
one message, the one word they gave to us was help. And we've connected with them a few times and got to know them a little bit. They've come to us for our help because they see us as humans on the planet that might be able to help them. And the strange thing is, and the reason I'm talking about this is because before you mentioned goblins, and these are subterranean beings that in appearance seem to resemble descriptions of goblins.
I
What do
started to
you
paint kind of a creature like that.
ah,
So I haven't finished this one, but this was an energy that did come through.
would you mind
So
holding that closer to the screen so we could take a
yeah,
look at
it's
it?
not done. It's just started.
Okay.
It's kind of like they're kind of shadowy figures. But yeah, it's definitely brown and green and
So that's what you understand a goblin to be.
no, no, no,
What do
no,
you
no.
understand goblins to be?
Okay, goblins are one of the fae. They are on the fourth dimension with like fairies and gnomes and dragons. They are they stay away from humans. So, but every now and then we'll get a glimpse of them, like especially in the Celtic worlds, they speak of goblins and so that the they were more the ancient Celts were more and Gauls were more in tune with the Fae dimension. No, no, no. What I feel like you're seeing when it comes to South America, and it's so South America was part of where Lemuria was, and you brought me back. Like we've both been to Mount Shasta. And Mount Shasta is a very powerful place. Mount Shasta is also a portal to Lemuria. Well, these creatures, what I'm hearing, these creatures were alive and thriving in Lemuria, and they went underground as the Lemurians did. And yeah, they are. We light workers have more than light warriors as well have more than just raising frequency and consciousness and connecting to higher level beings, we're also here to try to save the planet Earth, because we're in a dire situation now, and we understand that. And like, what do we do? You know, what's our carbon footprint? You know, what can we do at this point? We are trying to turn this ship on a dime, and I think we can do it. I'm an optimist, but it's these if we connect to these folks are kind of like those ones that kind of the tipping, like we hear that and was like, it's not just for us. You know, we're not just saving the planet. That's why the aliens came in the 40s for Area 51, because we had set off the atomic bomb. And like, they're like, what are you doing, Earthlings? You're the ripple is going to go into the universe. So these folks, the subterranean ones, are also saying, also down here, like, what are you doing? You're going to affect us. So we're affecting the universe and universes, and we're affecting the core of the earth. It's so much bigger than we can even imagine. So much bigger. So we're just hearing the call.
Yeah, there are three main messages that alien beings are giving to us as humans, that they've been giving to us for decades. The first of their messages is nuclear weapons, bad thing. And sadly, when we look into the future, which is possible with remote viewing, our present future does have some of those bombs going off. It's not good. We need to wake up to that, because we can change that future. The second of the messages is environmental. And, you know, with a lot of this paranormal spiritual stuff, it's sometimes harder to prove things to people. But with environmental things, well, I'm a scientist, and absolutely 100% we can prove that the damage that we're causing to our planet environmentally right now is catastrophic. So that's the second thing. And we have beings coming to us quite regularly, asking us for assistance. Please try and help the other humans on this planet to wake up to what we're doing to this planet. And that's one of my biggest missions, is to try and educate people, because there are lots of good people out there who just don't get what the truth is. And it just takes a little bit of education, a little bit of learning, before those people by themselves will make decisions that are much, much healthier for this planet. And the third message is love each other, be nice to each other. Now, Karen has asked a question of me. Were we able to help the baby? We don't know the answer to that. It was not clear if it was dead or dying. We had another incident, incidents of an alien being coming to us, a different type of alien being, looking more grey-like, but probably not grey, appearing in front of somebody at one of my events in Shawnee Mission Park, actually, in Kansas. Also holding a baby that was also either dead or dying, and giving us exactly the same message. And these are two different species appearing to different people, and helping those individual babies. That's beyond my power to do that, probably. But what I am trying to do is on a species-wide level, try and save entire species from being taken under, from dying. And I've had 2 aquatic species of advanced non-humans entities also come to me with the same message, show us images of their eggs, because you know, some of them lay eggs. They're not all looking very human-like. Some of them are more aquatic looking, some looking like manta rays, some looking more like dolphins, and they're showing us images of us causing harm to the planet. So if I would like to, you know, this show is called Galactic Wisdom. If I would like to offer one piece of advice to people to help them to become a little wiser, is maybe do a little bit of research into environmental issues. COP28 is going on right now in the world, and when I say that, a lot of people don't even know what that is. But that is the big international summit of world leaders taking place right now to try to figure out our climate issues and solve the problems. And of course, right now, that COP28 is being headed this year by the leader of an oil company, which is astonishing. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I try with every day to try and help these beings out there, but specifically those babies, I have not do not know how to help them. Now, Loni, you use cards, you use tarot cards to tune in to these beings, to tune into people. How do you use tarot cards or oracle cards or any other tools to assist you to access beings and information?
So this is my favorite tarot deck, and then of course I use the Milo Farm Oracle deck. But there's also pendulums and a crystal ball. So they're just tools. They're not necessarily needed. As Bashar would call it, they're permission slips, you know. It was funny that you said that because I often can see things in the clouds, and your entry has there's one image of some swirling clouds, and I saw an alien in that image. So like I can see, and I also do tea leaf readings. So it's really just permission slips to see more, you know, so I can hear spirit, I can just stop and listen. But if I pull a card, then there's more intricacy in that card. So like I have more messages, you know, this is about making connections with people and filling each other up. And like, we're going back to like that connections and the connection to nature. And that is one of the keys to helping to heal the earth. But anyway, there's more can be seen in a card. So they're just tools.
Fantastic. And when a certain card comes up, it could mean multiple different things. You just psychically or spiritually connect with, I guess, your guides and the person that you're giving a reading for. So it's a tool to sort of a pointer, a guide.
Yeah. So those of us that read are readers or seers. Often we are intuitive readers. So like I don't ever get out the little booklet that comes with the tarot cards. I just, you know, pull a card and see what and feel and hear what the message is. So it's all intuitive readings.
Right. I'm going to take a question from Amy Marie. And she's asked, what was I talking about? I was talking about COP, C-O-P 28. It's the 28th annual climate change summit. If you're interested, BBC does good coverage of the environmental things. So I would recommend going to the BBC News website, searching for COP, C-O-P. Loni, you've used the word seer a couple of times. What is a seer?
A seer is just another name for a psychic, a visionary, an intuitive. There are many names. Psychic has a bad rap. I don't like using that.
Why is that?
Yeah. You know, it's just a little woo woo, and people you think of the psychics at the county fair, you know, with the turban on or something. But seer is an older term. It's a term that goes way back. There were seers in the Druids. I've got the Druid lineage. I have a lot of Druid past lives and Druid bloodline. And one big part of the Druids most of them were seers, especially the priests. So it's those that can see, have a sixth sense.
So literally the word seer is somebody who sees, a seer.
Sees
That's,
beyond what you can see here.
yeah, cool. Something else I wanted to ask you about is collectives. Now, what is a collective and why is that relevant?
Oh, it is so important. So we talked about raising the frequency of the planet, and really the ET races that are sitting back, we're the biggest show in the universe, right? So they're sitting back and they're watching us. They have gauges. They can feel, they don't actually know the physical gauges, but they have gauges of the frequency of the collective of the human race. So every time you raise your frequency, it adds to the collective and it raises that level. And do we get to the point as a collective of the human race where we will have more contact? So it's different than the hive mind. But yeah, it's a collective, and also channeling too. I do a little bit of channeling and I have friends that channel. They channel sometimes collectives because once you get to a higher dimension, it's that we're all one and you have similar goals and tasks and um, and wishes upon the universe. So they come together as a collective to channel through us humans to get messages. So it could be a collective, can be just a few people. Like I had a medicine ceremony on Saturday night, and that's a collective. Like you have a group of people in a room and you're working together on ceremony. That's a collective. But then you have the humanity, which is 8 million, a collective of 8 million of us.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let's see. I'm going to talk a little bit about collectives. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this backstage stuff. I'm still. I've left up the banner from before, and I can't find how to remove it. So Amy's message is still up there. I will find a way to remove that in a moment. But let me talk a little bit more about collectives. We, as human beings, we have some telepathic abilities. We have some psychic abilities, but compared with other species, they're fairly low level. But if we, as human beings, raise our frequencies, if we ascend, we become more spiritual, we can tune into others more easily, more and more. And we start to gain empathy. We start to feel what other people are feeling. We tune into each other. We become less individualistic, more collectivistic. And if you imagine that evolution moving into the future, we can see what that's like with other beings out there that communicate solely through telepathy, that are very spiritual. Their sense of morality is a whole lot different to ours because they feel the emotions of others. The pain of one being in their collective is their pain, is everybody's pain. The happiness or the success of one being in a collective is everybody's happiness, everybody's success. And so more and more and more, as a species evolves spiritually, they become a stronger and stronger and more unified collective. And if you imagine how old the universe is, and we astrally project out there and we look for some of the beings that are out there, a lot of people make the mistake of just looking for individual aliens. But in fact, the older consciousnesses that are out there have evolved into collectives. So and we've done this, we've remote viewed out there to look specifically for collectives. And that's what we find. We find entities that are almost godlike in their nature, that are very spiritual, very powerful, very unified. And it goes with that territory that they are very moral. The universe, when you get out there, is actually a very nice, loving place. So that's just a little bit more about collectives. Now I have here a banner that I'm going to put on the screen. This is your website, Loni. Do you want to let people know a little bit about your website and what they can access there?
Yeah, that's my general website. There's links from the LoniLouise.com to Milo Farm. Spiral 55 Games is where I have my Oracle cards and my Philosopher game. To Lotus Key Homes, I've got a spiritual, real estate company. It's where you can message me for readings. So it's kind of like the umbrella of me, and links to my Facebook and my YouTube channel and all that too.
Fantastic. So if anybody out there wants to connect with Loni, and you give readings to people, and you give readings over the internet, so you can always ask Loni for readings if people want to. I do have one or two photos here that I'm going to throw up. Would you like to let us know what these are photos of, Loni?
Oh, that is a photo of a still shot of one of my YouTube videos. So Spirit gives me a word every now and then. They'll hit me with a word, and then I'll expand. They'll kind of give me a download of what they want to say about that word, and then I come and videotape it, and then I pull a card, and they expand upon the word more. So it's just general messages for humanity.
Fantastic. And what is this an image of?
That's Beltane. So we celebrate the Celtic holidays here. We also have other events at Milo Farm. So Beltane is one of my favorites. It's also May Day. So the Celtic holiday, that's where the dancing around the maypole came from. We make flower wreaths for our hair. We dance. We give an offering to the garden for the start of the season, because May Day is the beginning of the spring growing season. We dance and just celebrate spring. It's wonderful.
Fantastic. Is May Day a common thing in this country, in the US?
There's pockets of it. So like I grew up making May baskets, and we put them on neighbors' doors. So I knew the concept because my teachers shared that. They didn't talk about the Beltane and the ceremonial Celtic part of it, but May Day, yes. So, but then I've talked to dozens of people. They're like, I've never heard of it before. So, but Hawaii, they have Lei Day on May Day, and that's like the leis that the flower leis. So they take it another step, and like everyone has the ceremonial like leis putting on, and then you dance around the maypole. So pockets. And what about in the UK?
Yeah, we have May Day. When I was in primary school, I was one of the May Day dancers. We would learn all of the dancing around the pole and weaving in and out to different ways with different music, and creating this beautiful sort of form in the middle. That was something we were doing. Here's another photo you sent me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is what I led a medicine ceremony, and we had sound healers of the didgeridoo in the background. I was deep in meditation. One of the things we do in the woods here. But I can I tell a story about May Day real quick?
Go for it.
And the magic here. I mentioned the magic with this, but so the maypole here, it was a dead tree. And like the first year we danced and there's ribbons around it. And there were dead branches. Well, 2 months after that first May Day here, we had a summer storm, and lightning came and hit that tree and knocked the tree from the very top of the top ribbon. The tree fell and left me a maypole. It
It did what?
left a maypole because the tree fell from the lightning.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the rest of the tree's gone, and left at the very top of the top ribbon was not touched, and that's where it fell. So the universe and the land and the spirits gave us a maypole, and we dance around that every year.
That is fantastic. I'd like to say hello to Ward, and thank you very much for being with us today, Ward. So Milo Farm is a beautiful place in nature. How important do you feel humanity's relationship with nature is, Loni?
It is so important. And that's why, we have these entities coming down and trying to get that message across. And especially like we talked about the Fae coming in and we're seeing them more. That is going to help us raise our frequency, help when we love Mother Gaia. We're going to take care of Mother Gaia. It's going to clear our aura, our senses, ground more, walk barefoot in the land, hug a tree. Like I always do. I've got my cedar rods. I do dowsing. And I can feel the aura of a tree, and I have everyone hug the tree, and then we douse the tree, and the aura is grown. So like if trees have a consciousness, blade of grass have consciousness, connecting to that is going to fill us, make us complete and fill us up with love. It's like they want that connection. The trees and the flowers and the fauna want that connection. And like that's why Milo, I open up this amazing land so people can come and make that connection and like just release, especially since COVID, we were like inside, isolated. Let's get outside, let's breathe fresh air, and let's make connection with nature.
Absolutely. I think physically and spiritually, human beings, we are part of nature, but so many people live their lives completely separated from it. And one way to become enlightened and to ascend is to go out and connect with plants and animals and nature. Yeah. Well, we are moving towards the end of this show. I am just going to throw up on the screen for anybody that's interested in connecting with me more, hearing about my experiences and my advice for the future, because we're really trying to do some big important stuff here on this planet to try and improve our situation on this planet and help people to ascend. Please join me in my Patreon group, the Galactic Wisdom Patreon group. Loni, I would like to thank you so much for being here with us today. It has been a pleasure.
So fun.
Yeah, maybe you'll come back sometime and tell us more about the experiences. And I love how your room just lit up then, like
it
a
did.
UFO.
Isn't that crazy? That's spirit. Wow, that's crazy. I love spirit. Yeah, you know what? I was like, I need to do Rupert another reading. We need to have another reading, and then it was like, whoosh, that was an answer. Yes.
That would be fantastic. Thank you. So I would like to thank everybody that is out there in the world that has watched this show. Love, peace, and happiness to you. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Goodbye.
All right. Bye.